What's going on, everyone? So yesterday we got news that Blake Hinson, the guy that they brought in undrafted on their two-way, signed a 2-year deal on a two-way contract. You know, they could eventually move him to the main roster. But this is a guy that has all the tools to, I mean, he's a guy that could play now for the Lakers, and I actually think may end up getting some run. I don't think he'll make the main roster this year just because the Lakers have a lot that they need to figure out. They're trying to work on some trades, particularly for Wayne, Jeremy Grant, Cam Johnson, whomever they end up landing, if they end up landing somebody. But Blake Hinson is a guy that I think, you know, he's allowed to play, I think it's like 52 games or whatever it is, as two-way guys. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays that many games this year for the Lakers. I mean, this is a guy that shot 42% from three-point range, led the NCAA in catch and shoot three-point percentage, and he shot 44% from three on contested threes. The guy is a absolute just sniper out there. He's also a guy that's got good size at 6'8", play both forward positions, probably best at the 4 spot, but he is a guy that could easily play the 3. He's got good athleticism, really good kind of bully ball type guy. He's a guy that just can barrel in like a wrecking ball, finish, pull up, do a little bit of everything, right? The only reason he went undrafted is because he's 24 years old. Right, soon to be 25. So if he was 20, he probably would have been a top 10 pick, right? Look at like Reed from Kentucky. That guy went number 3. And Hinson is like a bigger version of that. It's just, again, at 24, right? Like that's a guy, I mean, for example, Connect, right? Connect is looked at as the best ready now prospect in this draft. Zach Edey is another guy that's in that conversation, but Dalton Connect is a guy that many people thought is ready to come in, plug and play right out the gate. And he was basically on everyone's board at number 6 and ended up dropping all the way to 17. Why? Not because of history, not because or injury history, not because of attitude, no, he literally dropped because he was 23 years old. So add another year to that, right? Like it's just, again, age is a big factor. People want that upside target. People want that guy that, you know, they can grow and develop, right? You could take a guy who, no, maybe he's not 42% from 3, but he's, you know, got similar stats, you know, similar body type, whatever, but he's 21. You have 3 years to grow and develop that guy before he hits Blake Hinson's age, where if you spend 3 years developing Blake Hinson, he's already supposed to be in his prime. So that's why he dropped. I mean, look at like, you know, Whitmore, right? Like he ends up going from like a top 3 potential pick all the way down to what? He was drafted 20th. Now that was because of injury factors and, you know, personal stuff, but still, like, there's a million reasons why people drop, right? Zach Edey was supposed to be the 17th pick and ended up getting picked up 9th, right? Like, there's the draft is always this kind of crapshoot. And for a 24-year-old that can come in and be ready now, he's a real important piece that I think the Lakers really value and see. I think you're going to see a great kind of summer league run from him, and I think people are going to be like, okay, yeah, they definitely got their guy. And I like that the Lakers got their draft, right? They got Traore and they got Bronny as their 2 like development guys, the guys that they can spend, you know, 2-3 years really developing and shaping and molding to hopefully eventually get to the roster. And then they got the 2 ready now, let's go, in Connect and then Hinson. I think those are 2 guys that can go a long way for the Lakers. But as the title says, is Hinson the replacement for Rui Hachimura? I actually think that it's a real possibility. And this is why I wanted to kind of talk about this, right? So the Lakers are actively trying to make a trade. Again, will they make a trade? I don't know. We're going to find out. Again, it's what, day 6? There's a long time between now and training camp. What, 60 days from now? If not, I think it's longer than that right now. Right? A lot can happen in that time. But if the Lakers are to pull off a trade, unless it's like a salary dump trade, right? Let's say it's for Jeremy Grant, you're likely giving up Rui Hachimura and then some. Right? There are reports that the Blazers want both Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt. So if you end up having to give up both of those guys, I'm not saying the Lakers will, but let's say that they do, you're really going to have a need for that depth at the wing position. Now you do have like Maxwell Lewis. LeBron can always slot to the 3 if you need him to, although probably not the best course of action, just given his age and him having to chase around. But you can, in a pinch, slot him over. You could always go like Max Christie, slide him over if you needed to. Connect, could slide over if you needed to, right? So you have options, so it's not like this desperate need. But Blake Hinson's a guy that's one of, depending on how this roster shapes up, Blake Hinson might end up getting some pretty significant minutes. Not heavy, because again, he's a two-way guy, so I do think a majority of the time he will be in the G League. And if he's on a two-way contract, and once you get to the playoffs, right? So I don't think he's going to be a big fixture this year because he's on a two-way contract. But after this year, depending on how things shape up, and if they lose Rui Hachimura, I think that Blake Hinson could end up being in the roster and actually part of the rotation. I think they'll kind of give this year for Blake Hinson to kind of get his feet under him, right? Give him a little spot minutes here and there, kind of, because Lakers have talked heavily about development. They really want to develop guys. How do you develop guys if they don't see the court? Right? Yeah, you can develop him in the G League. G League is not the NBA. Right? At some point, you got to get some of these guys some minutes. So I could see them this year is kind of like the, hey, kind of get the jitters out, get comfortable, get a feel, get your legs under you, get your feet wet a little bit, right? Like, and then next year we'll really jump you into the actual roster and potential rotation. And I think he's a guy that if he does get some, consistent minutes here and there, again, I'm not saying he's going to play because he can't play every game. But, let's say he does play the full 50 plus games, right? Let's say he plays 50, just for argument's sake, right? I think of those 50 games, if he plays 15 minutes a game, right, a guy's out, in the beauty of him is he could slot in 2 through 4. Because he's such a good shooter, you could slot him at the 2, you could slot him at the 3, you could slot him at the 4, and then, so if any guy is out in that area and you need a body, boom, he can come in, step up, hey, give me the ball, let me knock this down real quick, right? Like, that is very valuable. And to lose a guy in Rui Hachimura, which again would hurt. Like, no, I don't want Rui to go, but I understand that you have to give something to get something. And Rui is one of our more sizable contracts that you're very likely going to have to give up if you're going to make any type of significant trade, right? So if the Lakers were to trade Rui, you could use that similar body. Right? And Blake Hinson is that. He's got the 6'8" size. He's got the physicality that you want to see. He's more athletic, which is really good as well. But he's a guy that I think would fare better at the three-point line. Now, here's the thing. Rui Hachimura is proven, right? He still needs a little more growth. Rui's still not entirely there. He's still best at the 4. Right? But the problem is, too, with Rui is as long as LeBron's on this roster, Rui's never really going to get the proper slotting, and B, the proper opportunity and minutes to really progress the way that I think he can. And as a Rui fan, I'd like to see him get an opportunity somewhere where he can slot in and start at the 4 for a team and see what has he really got. But Rui has taken strides. You're seeing the growth year in, year out. But he's still not a finished product. Still has a long way to go. But he's also 2 years older, right? He's already 26 years old. So if you swapped Hinson with Rui, and let's say they're both, 2-3 years away from hitting their peak, hitting their ceiling, well, one guy would be 2 years younger than the other. Right, Rui would be nearly, 29, 30, where Hinson would be, 27, 28, right? Like, that's a big difference. And again, they both have similar attributes, they have similar size. Also, Hinson would be a lot cheaper in the long run if he works out, if he can kind of be the guy. Kind of feels like Rui, 1, is on his way out if the Lakers can find a significant trade, and 2, Hinson is that insurance, that Rui insurance of like, hey, if Rui's gone, we got a very similar type, right? A guy that could be better even, right? He very well could be better than Rui Hachimura. Again, you don't know. He hasn't played a game yet, but all of the work that you saw him do in college, which I understand college is not the NBA, but you only have to go what you go off of. And we've seen a lot of guys in college that have been very good translate very well. And him being 24, he's going to be more polished. He's going to be more adult, right? Like, the Lakers have also had a lot of success with those older second-round picks. They really value those guys because, again, they are they understand the game better than somebody that's 19 coming in. That's just, he's always been the guy, right? He's out here, man, I was dominating in high school. I was killing folks in college. Like, stop. Like, I'm about to go to the NBA and run. And then you get that wake up moment where you get a guy that's 24, even if he is the best player on his team, he understands, like, hey, I'm 20. I'm not that 19-year-old kid that, yes, I was something in high school. Yeah, I'm a little something in college, but I'm 24 years old and wasn't able to make it to the NBA till now. And somebody especially undrafted where it's like, I need to work extra hard. There's that, like, better understanding. There's, again, that more maturity. Like, hey, I'm probably never going to be more than a role player. I'm going to work to be a star, but I'm okay just making a roster, being on a team, rather than the kid that comes in, top 5 pick. He's out here like, yeah, this is my team now type thing, right? Which you love, right? That's what you want. But the older guy in the room usually get that like, hey, whatever you need from me. You need me to be a role guy. You need me to play 10 minutes. You need me to play 15. Where, the young kid that's top pick, he's expecting to play 30-plus minutes. He's expected to be a big piece in the team and the offense and stuff like that. Somebody that's 24 undrafted, they're coming in with the understanding like, hey, I'm here to do whatever you ask me for. So I do think Blake Hinson is a guy that can do whatever the Lakers are going to ask him for, and that's be a legit 3-and-D wing. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think Blake Hinson? Yes, he very likely is Rui insurance and could be Rui's replacement in the next year or so. Do you think no? Don't trade Rui, keep Rui. Are you high on Blake Hinson? I am personally, right? Obviously, he's closer to his ceiling than his floor, but his ceiling is still very good, right? He might, at worst, I think he'll be a, better defensive, bigger Buddy Hield, right? Like, if he could be that, that's great. A guy that can just knock down the 3 ball with efficiency, got 6'8" size, and can defend multiple positions. We'll see how elite he is, right? In college, he was good defensively, but college in the NBA is very different, right? So we'll see how everything translates, but it's a good sign. Anyway, again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.